Learning to edit video in CAPCUT for retirees. This is part 4, effects and transitions. Let's do it. Okay, we're moving on with CAPCUT video editing for us retirees. And today we're talking about effects and transitions. Now, effects and transitions are a couple of more buttons up at the top of our screen here. We're going through them one at a time. Well, today we're going through 2 of them, and it's effects and transitions. Both of those elements will add some video components at times. We'll manipulate the video that's in the clip to create some kind of an effect or some kind of movement from one clip to another. That's a transition. So in effects, what effects are going to do is just add that kind of motion or change, that effect, only to a single clip. It's applied to a clip, and that's it. If you're going to apply it to multiple clips, you have to group them together and apply it to them all. But video effect, you'll see when you hit effects, when you hit the effects button, you're going to see video effects and body effects. And what the difference between these two is, video effects affects the entirety of the screen of the clip, the entire frame of the clip. Whereas body effects are specifically doing that effect to the subject of the clip. So if it's this shot right here, it would be me, and the background wouldn't be affected. So, body effects and video effects. Now, what do those do? When I hit video effects, you'll see that all of these categories open up. And this is going to give you an opportunity to narrow down your focus in terms of what you're trying to do. So if you have an idea in your head of what you want to do with an effect, one of these different categories may be helpful. If you have a very specific idea about what you want to do, you can type it in search. So for example, if I wanted fireworks in my video, here are different clips, and you can see on the viewer it's going to show me what it's going to look like if I apply that effect to my clip. This is before I've actually applied it to the timeline. This is just to get an idea of what's that effect going to look like. Here's another version of it. And each one of them is different. Some of them are subtle. Those two, the differences are pretty subtle. All of these have different tenors, different feelings about them. And that's what you're going to look for. So that was, we looked up fireworks. But let's go back to our categories. And you're going to see here at the top, favorites. This is going to wind up being very important for you, and it's going to speed up your workflow tremendously. Because what's going to happen is once you find an effect that you really like, you're going to find that you're actually probably going to use it fairly regularly. It's a favorite. And you'll easily be able to assign it as a favorite, put it into this category, and now you're going to find all the best ones that you like the most all in one place, and you can go, boom, right to them and get them. So that's going to cut down a ton of time down the road because there are so many effects in here. It's mind-boggling. Part of your job when we're done, all I'm going to do is introduce the concept of how to get around in here. It's going to be up to you to find the effects that you like the best and start to apply them with creativity, subtlety, artistry. That's where you are going to evolve to, and you will. But it's going to be a process. There's so many of them. You can go down a rabbit hole and be just playing with effects for days. Try to avoid that. It's a trap. Find something, try to have a good sense of what you're trying to accomplish, and then go after that and find it. Trending is just going to be all the different popular effects that CAPCUT users are utilizing on a regular basis. So this is the popular stuff. And the pro category is going to be all the stuff that costs you money, okay? So the next one, we're not going to go over all of these. There's a few that I'm going to touch on, and I want to show you how they work. But open and close. Opening and closing are going to provide effects that would be ideal for opening up a clip or closing it down. So, for example, we're going to take a look at this one right here. You see how it's called vertical open, vertical lines opening up and revealing what's behind it. So if we put that on the timeline and then we play it, boom, the curtains open up and there we are. We can also do a vertical close, and that would be an appropriate way to end the clip. And if we take this clip and take it right up to the end, to the line, and apply it, now it's going to close the clip, and the curtain's going to close. Okay? And boom, we're on to the next clip. Now, that's the open and close. There are tons of them, but they're all appropriate for either introducing the new clip or bringing it to a close. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and put vertical back on the timeline. Well, no, we have it on the timeline. So what we're going to do is highlight it. And when we highlight it, once it's down in the timeline and we highlight that effect, up in the top right corner, you're going to see this special effects menu come up. Now, in this case, there are no little nuances to this effect that are going to show in this area. But one thing we can do is take the clip and expand it. And now it's going to take longer for it to completely open up. And you'll see that here. See how the curtain has slowed down before it reveals what's behind it? So you're going to be able to dial that speed in using the clip itself and either expanding or reducing the clip. And if I do it again, it's much faster. See how that worked? Okay, now we're going to get rid of that for a second. Just highlight it and hit delete and it's gone. And we're going to put and we're going to get rid of the other one as well. We're going to put in a different one. Down here, we're going to go down to the lens category. And in the lens category, we're going to apply fisheye 3. Okay? And now, hold on. We're going to apply it here to the clip, and we're going to extend it the entire length of the clip. Now imagine you're doing a movie, and there's a scene where somebody comes to the door and knocks on the door. And we see the person inside walking to open the door, and they're going to peek through the little peephole in the door. And here we go. That's what they're seeing through the peephole. So you can create some of these effects that will actually substitute for having to do some of the shots that would be very difficult to do organically. You'll be able to apply an effect and do something like this and imply what is happening in the scene. There are a lot of effects like this that can impact the way that your video looks. If we take out fisheye, you could also do a retro effect, for example. And in retro, we have this grainy look, okay? And that could be something that's on a TV and you're showing that it's an old television show. You're going to be able to apply effects for all kinds of reasons. So I want you to explore these. We're not going to go into every single one of them. But when we have the, let's put this one on for a second. Hold on. All right, so let's put this, not that one, okay, we'll put that one on. So when we've put that one on and we extend it to the full length of the clip, now up here in this menu, we have a lot of different stuff that we can start messing with. And what you're looking at, you can adjust each one of these with the slider. I'm not going to go into what each one of these things is. But as you mess with them and you watch your viewer, the viewer is going to show you the effect it's going to have on your clip. How strong that graininess is. How much noise you're going to have it. More noise, less noise. Sharpen it. Make it less sharp. Or more sharp and less sharp, excuse me. And size. How big are those pixels going to be? But the point being, every single one of these effects, when you apply it to your timeline, is going to have, well, not every single one, but most of them are going to have various elements that you're going to be able to adjust to tweak the effect to your liking. So don't forget, once you're on here, once you've put it onto the timeline, made it the length that you need it to be, go up to the right-hand side and see if you can tweak it at all to your liking. If you like it right away, you don't have to do a darn thing. There are no right and wrong answers with any of these. There's your aesthetic. It's your creativity, what appeals to you, what makes you pleased with the final result. Okay? So that's effects. We're going to get rid of that. That's the whole thing we're going to do about effects. You need to get in there and start getting your hands dirty. Command Z, that's your friend. You're going to be able to delete anything you do. So don't hesitate to try something and take it right back out. You can either immediately delete it, or if you've gotten deeper into it, you can go and use Command Z and go back and back and back as far as you need to get back to a point where you can start again. So don't fear any of this. Jump in and play with them. Moving on, we're going to transitions. Now, transitions, same thing. If it comes up and it's just transitions, oh my gosh, you'll be here all day, because all of the transitions available are all available to you there. So when you hit transitions, here come those same categories that we saw before. Trending, these are the hot transitions that people are using in CAPCUT. These are the ones being used the most often by CAPCUT users across the globe. Pro, no, they'll cost you money. Overlay. Now, overlay is something that's laid on top of the video, of the clip, to make it work. So if we click on this, we'll see that black transition happen. Now, sorry, so if we put black fade right there, and then we're going to play it back, you're going to see that it fades out and fades back into the next clip. Now, when we go back to that and highlight it, up here to the right, guess what? We've got duration. We can make it last longer. When we do expand that, you'll see that the bar that indicates that we have a transition just got fatter. And the reason it got fatter, it's going to take up more time. So now when we hit it, that transition is much slower and much more gradual. Okay? You can change it at any time. So the transitions menu will come up. There's not going to be as many options up here as we saw in effects. The transition is pretty much set, and you're just going to be adjusting time on this. So in some ways easier to use. But the whole idea of transitions is it's making the movement from one clip to the next more either smooth and subtle, dramatic, impactful in some way, somehow impacting the viewer and their response to the change of the scene. You're going to dial that in. This is another place that your creativity, this is what makes this your video. These little decisions, there are hundreds of those little decisions that go into every video you make, and it's going to make it your video, nobody else's. They're going to make different decisions, and they're going to make their video. You're going to make your video. So when you go into these categories, you're going to have this one right here called basic. and I want to talk about basic. I think it's a great place to start. The name implies it, but it truly is. These are transitions that have been used for a century of filmmaking and television production. These are go-tos. These are simple and go-to. So we're going to try this one. Now remember, I'm going to get rid of the old one first. We'll get rid of that, delete it, and go take the cursor back to it. This is called blink. Now when I click on it, it's going to show us on the screen what it's going to do. And it does exactly what it sounds like. It looks like your eye is just blinking and all of a sudden the scene changes. There it goes. Now once again, when we highlight it, we can change the duration. We can make it longer. We just made it a little bit longer. Boom. Okay? You've got complete control of the length of time that transition takes. Blink is a real basic. Okay? It's a super basic. So we've also got slide left, slide up, slide left, slide down. Okay? All of those are super basic ways of transitioning from one scene to the next. Remember them. Simple is good. Simple is useful. Now, once more, there are a ton of categories here, and you're going to spend all the time in the world. One thing that I am just modestly disappointed by, whereas we saw effects had a favorites category, in my opinion, transitions should have that same category, because there are transitions that you use all the time, and it would be nice to be able to have them collected in one place. I see no way to do that. If anybody does see a way to do that, I'm very interested in that. So please leave a comment. Let me know that there's a way to collect your favorite transitions into one place and be able to access them quickly. So that's what we're doing today. You got a lot of work to do now, because between effects and transitions, there are so many options. It's just hard to wrap your head around. It just goes on forever. And so finding that perfect transition or that perfect effect that really illuminates what you're trying to say in your video, it can be a challenge. So when you find them, put them into favorites if it's an effect. If it's a transition, keep a notebook or something and just keep an idea of where you found those. Where do you go to get those just dynamite transitions that you love and use so often? So that's effects and transitions in CAPCUT, video editing for us retirees. I hope it was helpful. Hey, do me a favor. If it wasn't, tell me why. Okay? Are we going too fast with this? Are we covering too much too quickly? Are we going too slow? Is it dragging out? And you're like, moving along, bro. Let's go. Tell me what I need to do. I'm here to serve you. It's not the other way around. So please let me know how to do that. Tell me how I can make these more compelling, more interesting, and more fun for you to use and become better at video editing. So if you did get something out of it, give me a like, subscribe to the video, share it with a friend. Help us grow. Can't grow without you. That's the whole deal. So hope you liked it. And until the next time we see each other, I'll see ya.